What I'm about to tell you about your kidneys is going to completely change the way you think about aging, blood sugar, and one hidden hormone that almost no one is talking about. If you're over 40 and you've noticed your energy is dropping, your blood pressure is creeping up, your ankles are a little puffier than they used to be, or your doctor casually mentioned that your kidney numbers are borderline, you need to watch this entire video, because what I'm about to share could literally add 10 healthy years to your life. I'm Dr. Eric Berg, and for the past 30 years, I've been helping people just like you reverse chronic conditions using root cause science most doctors never learned in medical school. And stay with me, because the number one daily habit I'm going to reveal at the end of this video, it's silently destroying the kidneys of millions of people over 40, and most of them have no idea they're even doing it. Now let me paint a picture for you. You wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. You go to the bathroom more often at night than you used to. Your hands and feet feel a little swollen in the morning. Your blood pressure medication keeps getting adjusted upward. Your doctor runs a basic metabolic panel, looks at your creatinine, looks at your eGFR, and says, everything looks fine. Let's recheck in a year. But deep down, you know something is off. And here's what you need to understand. According to the National Kidney Foundation, more than 35 million American adults have chronic kidney disease right now, and 9 out of 10 of them don't know it. That's not a typo. 90% are walking around with damaged kidneys and no diagnosis. And here's the really scary part. By the time your standard blood work flags a problem, you've usually already lost between 40 and 60% of your kidney function. 40 to 60%. Gone, silently, over 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. You've tried to do everything right. You've cut back on salt. You've drunk more water. You've maybe even cut back on protein because someone told you protein hurts your kidneys, and yet your numbers keep slowly drifting in the wrong direction. There's a reason for that, and it's not your fault. You've been given the wrong target. Now, for decades, you've been told that the main things that damage your kidneys are salt, red meat, and protein. The American Heart Association still talks about sodium. Your doctor probably told you to cut back on steak, but here's the problem. That advice was largely built on observational data from the 1970s and 80s, when researchers couldn't separate people eating real food from people eating ultra-processed junk. Modern science is telling a very different story. A landmark study published in The Lancet, looking at over 100,000 people, found that moderate sodium intake was actually associated with better outcomes than very low sodium intake. And research published in the New England Journal of Medicine, along with multiple reviews in Kidney International, has now identified a completely different driver behind the explosion of kidney disease we're seeing today. It's not the steak on your plate. It's not the salt shaker, it's a hormone, and almost no one is checking it. That hormone is insulin, and this is where everything starts to make sense. Let me explain what's actually happening in your body. Think of insulin as a key. Every time you eat, especially carbohydrates and sugar, your pancreas releases insulin, and that key unlocks your cells so glucose can come inside and be used for energy. That's the design. Beautiful system. But here's what happens after years and years of the standard American diet. Constant snacking, sugary drinks, refined grains, seed oils, ultra-processed food. Your cells get bombarded with so much insulin so often that they start to ignore the signal. They become resistant. So your pancreas does what any good organ would do. It shouts louder. It pumps out more and more insulin to force the glucose into the cells. And your fasting insulin level, which most doctors never even measure, slowly climbs. This is called hyperinsulinemia. And here's what most doctors miss. Hyperinsulinemia doesn't just affect your blood sugar, it directly damages your kidneys in 3 brutal ways. First, high insulin raises your blood pressure. It does this by telling your kidneys to hold on to sodium and water, and by stiffening the walls of your blood vessels. And your kidneys are essentially a giant network of tiny, delicate blood vessels called glomeruli. When the pressure inside those vessels goes up, the filters get damaged. Second, high insulin drives inflammation throughout the body, and inflammation directly scars kidney tissue. Researchers at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and the NIH have repeatedly shown that elevated insulin and elevated C-reactive protein go hand in hand with declining eGFR. And third, this is the one that really blew me away when I first read the data. Insulin itself acts as a growth factor on the kidney. It tells certain kidney cells to grow and thicken in ways they're not supposed to, leading to a condition called glomerulosclerosis. That's a fancy word for scarring of your filters. A 2022 review in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism laid this out very clearly. The researchers concluded that insulin resistance is now considered an independent risk factor for chronic kidney disease, even in people whose blood sugar still looks normal on paper. Now, here's the thing. This is why your standard blood work misses it. Your doctor looks at your fasting glucose. If it's under 100, they call it normal. They look at your A1C. If it's under 5.7, they say you're fine. But your fasting insulin could be 3, 4, even 5 times higher than optimal, and nobody is looking. Dr. Benjamin Bickman, one of the leading researchers in this area, has shown that insulin levels can be elevated for 10 to 20 years before glucose ever starts to rise. 20 years. That's the silent damage window. And while that's happening, your kidneys are being slowly cooked from the inside. Add in the other accelerators of aging kidneys: high uric acid from fructose, low magnesium, low vitamin D, low potassium, high oxidative stress, dehydration, common pain medications, and a couple of glasses of wine every night, and you have the perfect storm. The Cleveland Clinic has published on this. The Mayo Clinic has published on this. The research is very clear. After age 40, your kidneys lose function faster every decade, not because of aging itself, but because of accumulated metabolic damage driven by insulin. So here's what you need to do starting today. First, you need to lower your insulin, and the fastest way to do that isn't a pill, it's your fork. You're going to dramatically cut refined carbohydrates and sugar. I'm talking soda, fruit juice, pastries, bread, crackers, chips, breakfast cereal, anything in a colorful box with a cartoon on it. These foods spike insulin harder than almost anything else. Replace them with real, whole foods. Wild-caught fish like salmon and sardines, pasture-raised eggs, grass-fed beef, avocados, olive oil, and a huge amount of leafy greens and non-starchy vegetables. Kale, arugula, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, zucchini. These foods feed your body without flooding it with insulin. Second, you need to give your pancreas a rest. This is where intermittent fasting comes in. When you stop snacking all day long and instead eat within a shorter window, maybe 2 or 3 meals with no snacks in between, your insulin levels drop dramatically between meals. Research published in Cell Metabolism and the New England Journal of Medicine has shown that time-restricted eating can significantly improve insulin sensitivity, blood pressure, and markers of kidney function. Start gentle. A 12-hour overnight fast. Work your way up. Listen to your body. Third, replenish the minerals your kidneys are starving for. Magnesium is critical. Most Americans are deficient, and magnesium is essential for blood vessel relaxation, blood pressure control, and insulin sensitivity. Magnesium glycinate is generally well tolerated. Potassium, from real food like avocados, leafy greens, and salmon, is essential for blood pressure and fluid balance. Vitamin D3, ideally taken with vitamin K2, is one of the most powerful regulators of inflammation and immune balance in the entire body, and low vitamin D is strongly associated with worse kidney outcomes in the research. Don't guess on these. Get them tested. Work with someone who can guide you to therapeutic amounts for your individual body. Fourth, walk after your meals. A simple 10 to 15-minute walk after eating can blunt your blood sugar spike and lower your insulin response dramatically. This is one of the most underrated interventions in all of metabolic health. And fifth, this is the one almost everyone skips. Ask your doctor for a fasting insulin test, not just a glucose test. Ask for HOMA-IR. Ask for HS-CRP. Ask for a uric acid level. Ask for a urine albumin to creatinine ratio. These are the early warning signals. These are the numbers that will tell you what's happening years before your eGFR ever starts to drop. Now, I promised you at the beginning that I'd reveal the #1 daily habit that's silently destroying the kidneys of millions of people over 40. Here it is. It's not salt, it's not steak, it's not even soda, although soda is bad. It's constant snacking on processed carbohydrates throughout the day. Every cracker, every handful of cereal, every sweetened coffee drink, every protein bar loaded with hidden sugar, each one triggers another insulin surge. Most people over 40 are spiking their insulin 8, 10, 12 times a day, and their poor pancreas never gets a break. Their kidneys never get a break. This single change, stopping the all-day grazing, eating real meals, letting your insulin come down between them. When my patients implement it, their blood pressure starts dropping within weeks. Their energy comes back, their swelling goes down, and the markers of kidney stress quietly start to reverse. I want you to understand something. Your kidneys are not destined to fail just because you're getting older. They are responding to the inputs you give them. Lower the insulin, lower the inflammation, give them the minerals they need, and they will reward you with decades of clean filtration, stable blood pressure, and real energy. If this video helped you make sense of something your doctor never explained, do me a favor. Share it with someone you love, because chances are they need to hear this too. And if you want to go deeper, I have another video where I break down exactly how to reverse insulin resistance step by step. I'll link it for you right now. You don't want to miss it. Remember, your body has an incredible ability to heal itself when you give it the right inputs and remove the wrong ones. I'm Dr. Eric Berg, and I'll see you in the next video.